Welcome to Co-op Mode, Round 99. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. You can always subscribe to all of our podcasts on our Secret Friends Unite network feed. You can get the Star Wars, the Star Trek, all things nerd, and Co-op Mode for your video games. And when you're done doing that, check out our faces on YouTube because they're wonderful. You never know who's going to join us until you see our screen. Our wonderful backgrounds. You might see, once again, a creepy floating balloon behind Mark. You never know.
It happens.
Yeah, so check out our YouTube page. Subscribe. You'll love it. You'll enjoy it. And we love your comments when you do so. And just a reminder, we're going to have two big anniversaries this year, folks. We hit Secret Friends Unite hits 400 in a couple episodes, and Co-op Mode hits 100 in one more episode. To celebrate, I decided that I thought it would be a cool idea, and Mark is helping me with this endeavor, to donate a controller that is unique to Secret Friends Unite. So it'll be representative of our group, and it will be for a lucky audience member who leaves us a review on iTunes or Spotify. We'll let you know more. We'll be sharing visuals of the controller, and we'll get that to you. So stay tuned for more on that. So I am Todd Oxtra, one of your hosts, joined by Mark, the Canadian Carabin.
99. Sorry, I had to get that one. It's the 99th episode. You got to scream 99.
Exactly. And we're also joined by a returning Co-op Mode guest. That is Mr. Adam Leonhardt from the Megadads. Adam, welcome.
I feel like maybe, just maybe, you invited me on this pre-episode 100 just to kind of take a jab at the fact that it took me 8.5 years to get Megadads Live to 100. How long have you been doing the show?
We do every other week.
Weekly for three years.
Bastards.
Yeah. And we actually started as a segment on Secret Friends Unite. Mark and I let's talk video games for 15 minutes. And that was a fool's errand because
that's not enough time.
No, it's not, because we're we'll do 15, we'll do 30, and then we're
episodes, maybe.
I can't even pick out my socks in less than 15 minutes.
I know. Yeah, it was ridiculous, but it was something to try it out, and it was my way to get video games on Secret Friends Unite. So now, obviously that's where we're at now. So, and after that we launched.
Congratulations, guys.
Oh, thank you, Adam. We appreciate it. And, you're a fellow Minnesotan. Don't always have those on the show. Usually it's a bunch of Canadians. So I feel like the mighty North is on.
Right.
We just came off a win. The Packers lost, so I feel like everything's aligning in the stars.
Everything's great. Everything's great in football if you live in Minnesota, because like you said, we're hot. We are cautiously hot, as Vikings fans know. You can't ever get too excited. But even better than that, the Packers continue to struggle. So it's great. It's a great time. I'm happy.
Love it. We love it. And the snow has melted, so that's a good sign too.
Just in time for Halloween.
Snow already?
Oh, yeah. We had our October snow.
Wait, ew, what?
In 2020, when it was obviously I think we had Halloween during the COVID year, we had ridiculous amount of snow. It was super cold. Yeah. I felt so bad for the kids, So it's not unknown, Mark, to have snow by mid-October in Minnesota.
Dude, people think Canada's cold. I was out in this today. This is all I wore. It's a t-shirt. This is it. It was 20 something degrees today outside.
So you're truly in the tropics?
I guess.
But are you one of those guys? We've got these guys in Minnesota, these guys who it's it's freezing. There's frost on the ground and they're out in their cargo shorts and flip flops. So are you one of those guys? Okay.
So kind of, but not today. So hold on. 20 degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit. So what is this? So 68 degrees today.
Oh, okay.
Outside.
That's nice. That's a nice day.
Or more. Yeah, it was a very nice day. But I used to ski in a t-shirt on occasion. So full snow, and I used to just because.
I thought you were talking water skiing. You're the guy that wears the t-shirt at the beach.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, I would, because I would burn
in a thong.
Yeah.
I did run across a snow-filled field in my underwear once for, I think that was the 2000 New Year's, maybe. My brother and a couple of cousins.
Good man. Good
But
man.
yeah,
That couldn't have gone
I can't
wrong.
believe you guys have snow already. That's wild.
It'll be
I didn't
75 on
realize
Sunday,
this.
though. So,
Okay,
all
right.
it's chaotic.
Up and down. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
just the way it is here. So, Adam, since you've been on the show before, we're going to play a fun game because, the Mega Dads are all over the place. You guys are doing some awesome stuff there. I love hearing you on some of my favorite podcasts. You've been doing some great interviews. Luke Lohr was just on with that, and it feels like you guys just need to bring a box of like Kleenex when you do that show. So we're not going to make you cry this episode, Adam, unless
I appreciate that. My kids, that's what my kids are for.
Exactly. Well, or you're just we're not going to cause you to suffer. Maybe that's where the tears usually come from.
That's what my wife is for.
I know I make Mark want to have tears of anger at times, but we'll see how this goes. This one didn't get Mark's ire up, so I think I'm lucky. That is creepiest characters in non-horror games. What would you buy, rent, and return? So Mark teed this up to me, and I said, okay, I take a couple of Mark suggestions. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. So Mr. Mime, because I love Pokemon. I know everything about them. Todd is my nickname for some reason. Don't know why. Psycho Mantis. Yes. Todd.
That sounds like a suggestion.
Could be. Yeah, like the old Poke. What was it? Was it Facebook that had the old Poke?
Facebook folks, yeah.
Yeah. Where'd that go? Probably banned because, poking people is probably not appropriate.
That's very 2022.
Todd went Facebook. I went pegging.
What? Did we just? Okay, Mark. I see where you lead.
Pokey Todd or Polka Todd. I just,
Mark, when we meet, it's going to be a fantastic time.
I think so.
So Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid. Woohoo. And those creepy kids from Twilight Princess. Yes, folks, you've seen these kids before. I don't know what they are. Who had these kids? They ain't right. It's like the kid from Deliverance who plays the banjo. Yeah.
So these are kids with white eyes. I just want to make sure I'm thinking of
No,
this.
these the
refresh
kids.
my memory on these kids.
Okay. So these kids, let me just, I'll in the chat, I'll send you a picture. Audience, do the same thing. Go on Google while we're talking, and I will get the Twilight.
Oh, you're talking like the little baby that like essentially looks like he runs a gang. Like the Ordon Village kids.
Yes.
Mallow, Beth, Tallow, and Colin.
Oh man,
Yes,
these
the
kids
one-
could totally kick my ass.
Yeah.
Like the baby that looks like it's a mini samurai or something for some reason.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. So I assume you all have your image of these children, and these are probably what you're looking probably because the HD version, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the Wii version and on the GameCube version, they were less pretty. So they've been given a glow up. But yeah,
That's
those kids
pretty.
would be part of some like Japanese horror movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Creepy. All right.
All right. Okay. So that is your choices. So at this point, we'll leave it to Adam. Buy, rent, return.
Oh my God. So buy is going to be the scariest one. Is that
Creepiest. Whatever you view the
Creepiest
creepiest.
one.
It could be. Yeah.
definitely those kids? Because little backstory. My wife, when we first got together, she took me back home to her in-laws, and she's got these parents that like preserve the bedroom kind of thing. It's really creepy kind of stuff. And her bedroom had this shelf that lined along the ceiling, and it was filled with porcelain dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And we stayed there that night, and let me tell you, waking up at 2:00 in the morning with about 45 porcelain dolls staring at you from up above. I've never peed the bed so hard in my life. And these kids remind me of that. So they're definitely the buy. Rent, I'm going Psycho Mantis, because anybody who knows
Good choice.
Anybody who knows what I'm thinking, yeah. I mean, I pity them, first of all. And secondly, like that's a dangerous thing. And then Mr. Mime, I don't have much Pokemon experience other than the Detective Pikachu movie. And I'm pretty sure they killed him off within like 5 minutes of that scene. So,
Oh, was he one of the ones that got it? Oh, darn.
I think off camera they like implied that he exploded or something.
Yeah,
I love
if I'm
it.
remembering that right.
They did, yeah, because he
was dispatched relatively quickly, so I don't think he's much of a
pretended
threat.
to throw a match in some gasoline.
Yes, that's what it was.
right.
They lit him on fire.
That's right. He is in the trailer. I forgot about it. Yeah, so even better. So now you've got a basically probably coming back from the dead Mr. Mime. Even better, right?
There you go.
I like it.
Well, very, very good. 1 point on the Psycho Mantis. What game did he say was on your memory card, Adam?
Suikoden.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Is you like Suikoden, do you? It was the controller in the second port though that really messed with me.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I just loved it. It was kind of that era, like Eternal Darkness was the same way, where it played with the conventions of what a controller. Your TV. You think you got to turn off your TV or reset your console? So diabolical.
So good.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Mark.
I'm going to mix it up slightly. I am going to go with Psycho Mantis for just getting into your head and you don't expect it in that game. And it's just like, what is happening here? How is this reaching through my TV and messing with me this way? So I'm going to go with that one. But a close second are those creepy kids, because they do go like White Eyes Zombie at one point, don't they? Like they go full creepy, which is even creepier than creepy. So it's I could buy or rent that good flip flop right now. I just want to be.
That's the game with like werewolves and stuff, right? And like the scariest part is these kindergartners.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. The Twilight realm, and there's like deformed monsters and werewolves and everything. But no, kids, creepiest thing.
Kids, we know the truth.
They're to blame.
And Mr. Mime, although very creepy. And like mimes in general, clowns kind of give off that creepy vibe. I'm gonna go with a game that can read my mind as the creepier one, and sadly return my buddy Mr. Mime. Although I did run into, so my son was running around Walmart's toy aisle on the weekend, and there was this Pokeball that started to talk, which was weird enough as it is. But then it was like, hey, I bet I can guess which Pokemon you're thinking of. It's like, okay, Pokeball, let's go. I'm going to throw you an easy one. This one's literally tattooed, so if there's some sort of eyeballs in the Pokeball, you can see the Nidoran. I'm going to choose that. So it starts asking me questions, but starts asking me questions like way too good off the bat.
Like what are you wearing?
No, the first question it asked was, does this Pokemon have red eyes? I don't know how many Pokemon have red eyes, but Nidoran sure as hell does. And I was like, why is that the first question? So it got Nidoran very quickly. And I'm just standing in like this Walmart aisle and no one's around. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, why is this ball reading my mind? So like,
hello, Mark. Do you like Pokemon?
Would you like to play a game? Not a clue, man. Anyway, if anyone's
Mark, that is like the if you can do like, if you ever like Nintendo, they're like can become free license. That's the horror game you get, right? We're getting a Pokemon horror game. Yeah, I love it.
Don't ruin what I'm gonna say later.
Oh, spoilers. Well, that's a good tease, Mark. That's a good tease. Exactly, I like that.
Exactly. So, Todd, what are your choices?
Well, because I selected this. It's definitely those damn kids. Something always felt wrong about like everybody in Hyrule except for Link and Zelda always looked off. Like these people are like mutants, and like, why do they look so weird and odd? It's like spooky and scary. And then those little kids, kids. I've always said this. I love my kids. I don't love anybody else's kids. I mean, I appreciate your kids, but I don't love them. And those kids,
that's how I feel about
don't know.
Dogs.
I don't think their parents like these kids because there's no parents around. So I'm guessing they killed their parents, maybe ate them. I don't know what their tastes are. But yeah, they're just creepy, weird. Like they don't even look like real. They almost look like they're like aliens disguised as like kids. So yeah. the little one too. Weird. So yeah, not good. I'm going with Psycho Mantis as well, just because that experience so cool. Kojima. I think that's when we started to really realize who Kojima was when he decided to make games, and he could do what he could do with visuals and also sound and voice acting and things like that. Because I think the game before that was Snatcher on I think Sega CD. Which was still like more animated and not great. But yeah, just so cool. So many cool mechanics. And he's creepy. He's got a gas mask, the way he moves. I mean, kind of a serial killer. I guess if he wasn't like an assassin, he would just have been a serial killer. That was like his two choices, like creepy assassin working for a paramilitary group or serial killer. I guess this pays better than being a serial killer. So very creepy. And Mr. Mime. I mean, I'd like to think that clowns deserve a second chance. So maybe Mr. Mime does. So I'm going to give him a break.
All right. And then he'll give you a break.
It's implying that clowns automatically have like one strike against them just by default.
Well, remember before the pandemic, they had like that like they had those stories about creepy clown sighted and, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Those photos all over social media of people just dressed up as clowns in people's yards.
Just hanging out and being weird. It's like, don't do that.
That was messed up.
That's a recipe for like getting killed. Not the clown killing someone killing the clown. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully everyone at home played along with us, had a good time, and we'd love to hear your picks. And Mark, we forgot to ask the folks in Discord. Damn.
I did ask them about something we're going to talk about later.
Okay,
so we still got a Discord, some participation.
Very good. Very good. Okay, we'll get into what we've been playing. So, Adam, I'm very interested about this game. Tell us more.
So I have been playing Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, which by the time this episode drops will be available for everybody to play. It's developed by Ilphonic, the folks that did Predator Hunting Grounds.
Oh, okay.
And much like that game, this is an asymmetrical multiplayer experience. So you have 4 players as the Ghostbusters, 1 player as the Spirit. And typically this is not really my type of a game. Like my bread and butter is a story-based action adventure game. And while there is a story to Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, this is very much like primarily an arcadey online match-driven experience. So the game starts, you are a new recruit for the Ghostbusters, much like the previous Ghostbusters, a video game, the single-player adventure game. Mm-hmm. You're a new kind of nameless guy, but in this game, you get to design him from scratch. And this has a really great character creator mode, like very nuanced, not just hairstyles and glasses and stuff, but like you can, it's very Mass Effect, like your mouth shape, your eyebrows, and all sorts of stuff. But it's got a really cool, like animated aesthetic, like a really clean, stylized, cartoony look to it. You design your Ghostbuster, and then they introduce you to a story that kind of trains you into the game to kind of get your bearings. But the meat and the potatoes of this thing is it's very much a match-driven, cooperative / competitive experience where you go into one of 6 maps. And as the Ghostbusters, your job is to dispatch the spirit and complete a set of objectives on the way to doing so. So as you enter a map, there are 3 what they call rifts in the map. And these are portals that you have to find with your PKE meter and then close them up so that you can finally capture the ghost. If you capture the ghost before you close these rifts, it just keeps respawning. So once you find these rifts and you close them up, then it gives you like a time limit to go and find the ghost and dispatch it with the help of your other players. I played this game primarily as a single player experience. I'm not much of an online guy. I did do a couple of matches with my son where he was playing on the PS5 and I was playing on the PS4 in another room in the house. We were using the same copy of the game. You can sign in and play that way. So that was kind of nice that we could do that. But there's no split screen, which is a real bummer for me as like an old school player kind of guy. I expect that to be part of the package with games like this, and I know that they're phasing that out. That wasn't in Back for Blood either, which was a real bummer to me. I think this game would definitely benefit from that, because it's a good looking game, but it's not like visually, oh my God, this is like really making the most of the PS5 platform. I feel like they could get away with that. They could do a split screen without sacrificing too much. So take that with a grain of salt. But the point is, playing with other human players is a blast. There's nothing quite like chasing down a ghost. One of you's got your proton pack and you're holding the ghost in place and you're yelling at your partner, get the trap out, and they throw the trap and activate the trap. It's just a whole other ball game once you get other live players into the experience. It's not bad single player. The AI is adequate, but you don't get that same sense of I'm working with someone as you do with like other human players. So it's, I finished the campaign yesterday. Our review comes out tomorrow. It's good. It's very solid, but I feel like they kind of left a little bit too much on the table. There's only like 6 maps. It feels like the kind of game that they might add more story to it as they go. And there's a lot of really cool unlockables. You can unlock different Ghostbuster suits. Like one of the unlockables is actually the real Ghostbusters color scheme. If you remember the real Ghostbusters cartoon from the 80s, like that's one of the unlockables. They've got a lot of really cool nods to Ghostbuster lore. It's good. I had a great time with it. I hope that it has legs. It's really hard for a game like this to sustain its audience, to justify more and more investment. But I hope that it does, because I think this is a good, solid starting point for this game. But as it stands right now, I don't know that it feels very complete, if that makes sense.
So one of the, this reminds me of that Evil Dead game that came out that actually was considered very good for what it was. I just don't know if that game is still relevant anymore. Is it still have an audience? I don't know. They were good about bringing more characters out and things like that. In this case, there's no you get money for busting ghosts to get more upgrades, things like that. It's really just more unlock skins and things like that. And just
you can upgrade all of your equipment. So you level up as you go, and each mission or each map has different measurables for how well you do. So you can totally destroy every map. You think of the first Ghostbuster movie,
got it. Your penalty, you get a bill at the end.
Yeah, you just light everything on fire. You can do that in this game, but then you get docked. There are also civilians running around in the map, and if they get spooked, you can run up to them and calm them down. There's a quick time mini game where you're timing button presses to calm them down. So you get bonus points for keeping the people under control. And then as the levels progress, there's a haunting meter, where the more havoc that the ghost wreaks, the haunting meter goes up. So if you don't do a really good job, the level by the end is covered in slime. And as you level up and accrue all these points, you can level up your proton pack. You can level up your PKE meter. You can level up your trap. You can unlock extra gadgets. There's grappling hooks and bombs, and you get raised goggles that can see the ghosts in night vision. So there's lots of incentive to continue playing. Unfortunately, the incentive is not more levels, because you are going to be replaying the same levels over and over. And if you don't have a good cast of players that you're playing with, that could get repetitive pretty quick.
Is crossplay enabled for this?
Crossplay is enabled. As of right now, pre-release, they ask you to activate and link your Epic account, and that was not enabled for me during my my preview build. So hopefully after tomorrow, when it launches, that'll be active, and then you can play cross-platform with PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. And I'm playing on PS5.
So this game is Canada anyway, $50. So that's $13.75 for you guys, isn't it?
$2.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's a cheaper game, right? Like
it's a cheaper game. It's a double A game. And the thing about it is like, typically I would say this is the kind of game that I think you should get on a sale. But the problem is, if you do that, you might not have the player base that you want to play this game, and which it's kind of dependent upon. It's dependent on having a lot of people to get in and play with. So, your mileage is going to vary depending on your group of players that you can play with and your level of investment in the Ghostbusters property. I had a good time with it. Is it worth $40? It's hard to say.
Are there any fan service in regards to like the environments, or there's no surprise cast, right? Like Winston Zedmore doesn't show up.
Winston and Ray.
Winston is in it.
They're both
Ray is in
okay.
it. It's got a really great. So the hub, obviously, before you go on your missions, is the firehouse.
Okay.
And it's very movie authentic. You can go in the basement where they've got the containment unit. You can go upstairs to the rec room. They've got the dancing toaster. What I really loved about this is if you go out the back door and across the alley, it leads directly into Ray's occult bookstore.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if they ever said in the movies that that's actually where this thing is located, but in the game, it's just like across the alleyway, and you can go in there and you can talk to Dan Aykroyd, and there's all sorts of collectibles and spirit charms and things like that in there. So like it does a fantastic job of capturing the movie essence, the music, the sound effects, the I don't know if you guys play on PlayStation 5, but the DualSense integration, the kickback in the adaptive triggers when you fire up your proton pack, dude.
Nice.
Dude, it's nice. Like they do a fantastic job of capturing that movie essence. And as a game, it's really polished. It doesn't have any jank. There's no glitching to it. It's a really nice product that feels like it's an onboard to perhaps more content that might come down the road, which I hope it does, because I think if they added a few more levels and a little bit more story, like this would be a really solid package and a definite recommend. If you love Ghostbusters, then yeah, I would recommend you give it a shot. Just expect that it's not quite finished. The way games are these days, there's always more in the pipeline, more that's coming. And they're going to deliver some DLC eventually with this thing.
Black Friday is essentially in a month, around that time, so that might be where you pick it up, and that's only in a month.
Slam dunk.
Yeah. So only a month, so maybe it'll retain its fan base. Obviously, Ghostbusters. There's going to probably be another movie soon, so that might get people more excited for it. And I know there's also a VR game coming out for Ghostbusters too.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. So it's a good time to be a Ghostbusters fan. Too. They do a lot of things right with this thing. And if that's your type of game, if you are one of these asymmetrical online players, you're going to eat this up.
Yeah, it's a cool experience compared to like just a PvP. I mean, this is truly it's cooperative with a PvE type element because it's PvP, but it does feel more like PvE. So I think that's kind of cool. I like those elements where you just feel like you're on team, and very cool. And when it opens up. Yeah, when it opens up, Adam, I'd like to see, when you actually are playing with more people, more friends, things like that. That'd be kind of cool to hear. Does it, do you come back to it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So, Mark, you're getting. I'll just let you take it away because you got some things to talk about.
Well, first off, I want to say that I was on the Boss Rush podcast just last week, which was awesome. Really fun to hang out with that crew. And I talked about a few games there, so I'll kind of give a quick recap. But I encourage you to go check that episode out, and I get a little bit into some more stuff of what I've been playing. But basically what I talked about with those guys was I'm back into Beat Saber pretty heavily. On my Quest 2, and the Lizzo song pack just dropped, and man, I've been getting into it. The thing that I've loved about it is I've been slacking on my Apple Watch rings pretty recently. With a mix of things, after we kind of, lost our dog Stella, I haven't been like as motivated to get up and go for like energetic kind of walks. Walking with the baby is kind of like, snail's pace, doesn't really close anything for me. So this got me back, and I closed all 3 rings the last 2 weeks thanks to Beat Saber and the Lizzo song pack. So it's been fun, man. It's been good. My wife came down a few times and just was like, what is happening right now? Because there's, I don't know if you're familiar with Beat Saber, sometimes there's walls and stuff that you have to dodge, or like they get you to slash the bricks in different ways, and now you can kind of like hold the brick. Like there's a line that you kind of have to follow to like trace to the next one. So like there's a lot of like dodging out of the way and like very
sassy moves there, Mike.
Very sassy kind of moves.
Yeah.
And I've been owning it, man. I've been just owning it. I did buy the Green Day pack, which is usually a little bit more my speed, just to counterbalance the Lizzo. But for a game like this, man, I just keep going back to Lizzo because like Green Day's great. Green Day's great, but like you don't get a sweat going to like Boulevard of Broken Dreams the same way you do Juice, Lizzo. It's just you gotta own it. So I'm playing that one. That's great. And Deathloop finally hit Game Pass, so I've been diving into that one, and it's been fun. And I talked about it again a little bit more on the Boss Rush podcast. So I'm just gonna say, if you want to listen to more, go over there. So the other game that I didn't get to talk to those guys about is Trover Saves the Universe, again on Quest 2. I've been really into VR lately. For I don't really know the reason. I just have been picking it up and trying new experiences on that while we kind of wait for the fall rush. So Ghostbusters is kind of kicking that off.
VR is like a slump buster, Mark. It gets you a different experience to maybe break you out of the monotony of maybe the same old.
Absolutely. So we have Ghostbusters and various other games coming out in the next couple of weeks that I'm sure will get me back console-wise. But Trover Saves the Universe is from the same minds that brought Rick and Morty, and it is the same level of weird, if not weirder. It is absolutely wacky. So you play as I forget what they're called, Chairovians or chair people or something. So you're always in your chair, you're stationary, and you can kind of warp to places. But you also control Trover, and you kind of tell him where to go, and he can go to waypoints and defeat enemies and find hidden things and all that kind of stuff. But you're always at a fixed point, which is kind of an interesting take on it. So you're kind of controlling ish 2 characters, but it's interesting. There's a lot of choice in it, so you can choose to kill this annoying character or that douchebag at one point in the first main level. And they're both very unlikable. One is very annoying and naked and floating above you and gets in your way, and the other just naked like an ass. Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Good.
There's a Band-Aid covering his willy, but otherwise naked.
A Band-Aid.
Yeah, it looks like 2 little cross Band-Aids.
I feel sorry for him.
Ouch.
Yeah, ouch. And he wants you to kill his obnoxious neighbor, and the neighbor is obnoxious, but he's like, you know what? You should kill that guy instead. Isn't he annoying? And you get the choice. And because it's VR, you actually shake your head yes or no for the choices. They're like, so who are you going to kill? Do you want to kill this guy? And you actually have to shake your head yes or no. And it's like, you sure you don't want to kill this guy? And it's like, yes, I'm sure. Just let's, push this guy off the cliff with his, and then you find out, anyway, some stuff. I may have accidentally killed a house full of pregnant women, whatever. So it's fine.
Oh, just that. Okay.
It's
you can't just throw that out there.
You have to save the universe. You move on.
Mistakes were made, or
mistakes were made.
Okay.
Basically, you're trying to get your 2 dogs back with a giant bird creature uses for eyeballs now, and that's the story. You're just trying to get your dogs back instead of the demon bird creature using them for eyeballs, because everything uses stuff for eyeballs. So Trover, for instance, uses babies for eyeballs. So he has a red baby and a blue baby, and then you get a darker blue baby, which he swaps out, and the darker blue baby eats the lighter blue baby.
What are you talking about?
Did you play Scorn instead? Are you confused?
I'm pretty sure he just dropped acid.
I swear this is only beer. This is the game. It is incredibly weird, and I was laughing the entire time. It's great. Mm-hmm. If you like Rick and Morty, this is going to be your kind of humor. If you do not like Rick and Morty, or if anything I said sounds like an acid trip that you don't want to go down, maybe skip it. But I I thoroughly enjoyed this one. It was on sale last week, and I was like, you know what, screw it. Yeah, let's go.
Are you a big
folks.
VR guy?
Yeah.
Can I throw out two titles and you can say if you've played them or if you haven't? I highly recommend them.
Okay.
First, Pistol Whip.
Yes. You
My
have
God.
the Pistol Whip, Mark? That game is awesome. It's John Wick and like almost
yes,
dancing.
That game is insane. And two, Moss 2.
I haven't played Moss 2. Moss 1 is one of my favorite games that I've played in the last year.
Yeah, Moss Book 2 is on my short list for Game of the Year. It is exceptional.
I just finished, what would you say, Todd? When did I say I finished Moss? Like maybe a month or two ago?
I actually just picked it up. Or I've had it on PC VR because I do the Oculus Link to my PC, which it didn't perform very well. But that game is very, very cool.
Outstanding, yeah.
Phenomenal. And I just, the reason I didn't jump into book 2 is because I didn't want to burn myself out on the experience. You know, sometimes like you play a game and then you jump into another game. I just talked about this a couple of weeks ago with Pokemon. I was like, I've just been playing Brilliant Diamond and there's a new one coming out. And I think Brilliant Diamond's different enough than like the 3D open world stuff. But I was still kind of worried, like, you know, if you play Ghostbusters, are you going to want to play Ghostbusters VR? If you play, you know, Game A, you're going to want to play. So that's the only reason I didn't get into Moss 2 right away. But the temptation was there of like, I need to instantly buy this because Moss 1 was just so special.
Yeah.
So amazing.
It's good.
Yeah, Meta drops coupons quite a bit. So
that's it. Nice. So much stuff goes on sale with Meta all the time with the game. Like checking the app, like there's a different game on sale every single day. So that's kind of another incentive to wait a tiny bit more while I'm still working through the games that I've already purchased. So
yeah, and I know we aren't going to be talking about the Oculus event. It was very heavily not game focused because of their new headset, which is focused on more of that. But they did announce some games that are coming, which is very cool. I think the biggest one that's coming is Iron Man. Yeah, that's kind of neat because that game was lauded on PSVR, but the tech within, you know, it was kind of held back, we think. But I don't know where Meta 2 or Quest 2 ranks within all those things, but being untethered probably is the biggest benefit.
From an early preview, because I follow a few like Quest creators and stuff, like content creators and stuff like that. From an early preview of one guy that I saw on YouTube, it's takes a little graphical hit on the Quest because it is standalone, and you know PS4 was a bit more powerful than a standalone can be, basically with a tablet or mobile chip. But the freedom to be able, like you said, to just move around untethered as Iron Man and fly around and do whatever you want really adds to the experience. So it sounds pretty awesome.
Very, very cool. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in VR. You know, we're going to get PSVR 2.
Meta just bought that.
Camouflage. That was Ryan Payton, who worked on MGS 4. And then he created his company. There's like actually a game, one of his first games is actually on Quest. And I think it's been free there, whichever call. It's more of a stealth game. Kind of cool. So if it's there, check it out if you're like interested in that. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Bought the company and it comes over. They're getting a port. And they did thank Sony for bringing it over, which is kind of funny in that thing. That was really neat. So very, very cool. Let's see. Dark Picture Anthology House of Ashes. I love supermassive games. I have not loved this new series, Dark Pictures Anthology. I thought the first game was so-so. I skipped the second game, Little Hope, which I did not hear very many good things about it. So I'm like, okay, I'll skip it. House of Ashes, though, it sounds like this is their redemption. So I got this game. Gamefly sent it to me. I actually ended up buying it from them. And I like it. It's kind of a neat a focus on that, you know, decision-based gameplay, limited gameplay. It's a lot of decisions, although there is shooting in the game at certain moments. So you do have to line up a reticle and then pull the trigger, which I forgot to do. I'm like, I'm just going to line it up. You have to pull the trigger. My son says, Dad, why didn't you pull the trigger? I'm like, because I forgot. Man, he's so critical. He's so good at games. Man,
if that gets out, don't they take away your United States citizenship?
If I can't shoot. Yeah, if I can't shoot. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'll be joining you, Mark. Got a space?
Run to the border.
Exactly. Yeah. So it starts off in one era. It's essentially Alexander the Great era. There is a supernatural element. It seems like there's a demon element, and it fast forwards to essentially 2003 Iraq, and you are a company of soldiers. You go in, and there is drama because there's a CIA agent and a Air Force officer who were married, and they've been apart. They're brought back together, and you have to make some decisions about relationships. There's some things going on where you have to survive, and it's set up between essentially 3 different groups, and you're going through it. And the big part of the game is you see some precursors of what's going to happen as you find these little elements, and then it records the decisions you make, and also, kind of at the end it'll basically say you chose these paths. The Quarry was the last game I played with them. Really love that. I don't think this is as strong as the Quarry, but it's still making me happy as a spooky game to play in October. So if you like these type of games, and I think this one is a good balance of what they've done with Until Dawn and then the Quarry, I think it's well worth checking out. I think you can probably get this for $20, but it's very fun, and they do some pretty good stuff with probably low budgets. These are the first time they essentially published through. I forgot who their publisher is, but I mean, they were trying to break off. I always thought Sony would buy them, and they never did. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. So check out House of Ashes. It's not bad.
I'm playing that. A couple of these Dark Pictures games have shown up on PlayStation Plus. Yes. I've been tempted, but there's something about the whole. They feel very Telltale-like, and I think that while the production value and like the themes of it really appeal to me, just I don't know if I'm in that mind space anymore to play those QTE heavy story games anymore. You think this holds up pretty well, huh?
I do, but I think Until Dawn and The Quarry really are their best games.
That's where you want to go.
Yeah, it's stronger talent too. They've got like real celebrities and actors in these games, and I really liked it. Like Rami Malek's in Until Dawn, so is Hayden Panettiere. Then we've got some classic horror actors like
Ted Raimi's in The Quarry, right?
Ted Raimi is, and also Lance Henriksen from Aliens and other things too. So they've got some good talent, and it's really good. Even Justice. I'm blanking his name from the Detective Pikachu. He's in this game as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think The Quarry is an evolving of what they're going for. But if you like that kind of like, there's something going on and you've got to get these kids to survive, it's that type of game. And it's really understanding who will survive at the end. And mistakes will be made, because I made a lot of them. Because you'll make a dumb mistake, like you tripped in the forest and you didn't save the person. So yeah, it's great. And I liked what they did with The Quarry at the end, where basically at the end credits, you had a podcast team who investigates like these supernatural things. They were essentially talking through what you did in the game, which I thought was a cool take. So yeah, I think both of those are their standouts. So if you want something like there, and I think they manage it and they raise it to a level that I think is doing something different than the Telltale games, but it's limited interaction, but really there for the story and the environment and the mood they set. And then I revisited Cobra Kai on Switch. This is the licensed game based on the Netflix series, and it's a very competent brawler like Streets of Rage. But they layer in, essentially, you go to the Cobra Kai dojo, and you power up. You get different moves, and you get money to raise it up. You can upgrade the dojon to get more, to do more things, to get more abilities. So there's a pretty big skill tree for all of the characters, and I love it because it feels like it's almost like an episode within Cobra Kai, because it's got all of the characters and kind of more of a really caricature of them, which makes it a lot of fun. Like Johnny looks a little bit more vicious. John Kreese looks, a little more buffed out, a little younger. And it's funny because you've got all of these little drama segments that are kind of like the offs, like the interstitials and things like that, which are fun. So it's because, Cobra Kai is such a guilty pleasure, and it definitely fits. And there's actually going to be a sequel. And this is by, I can't remember who actually made this game, but like I said, I think it's a very competent beat 'em up in like the Streets of Rage, those type of games. That I think it's well worth your money. I think I got it for $20, but it's a hoot. So I don't know if there's co-op, but that would make it even better. I've been playing on Switch and it performs really well. So, but long load times. The longer I play the Switch these days, when it comes to modern consoles, the Switch load times, even though it's on, it's on a cart and things like that, you still feel it as it's loading because, there's still a lot of work the console has to do. So I hope the next Switch has an SSD. That's all I'll say.
Yep.
So that's what we've been playing, folks. Now we're going to talk a little bit of news because you know what? When you get a Nintendo Direct for a movie, something's in the air. So we essentially got the trailer kicked off with Miyamoto, and then the I guess it would be the head of Illumination movies, and then we got a weird, very odd interview with Chris Pratt, and then we got Jack Black, which I enjoyed the Jack Black part because Jack Black's all in and Chris Pratt's a little awkward, and then we got the movie. So with that, what did you gentlemen think about the trailer?
Okay, here we go. Those of you who know...
Wait, Adam, you're supposed to say, here we go.
Here we go. Those of you
solid Chris Pratt impression
who know me from Megadads know that I'm the PlayStation guy. I love Nintendo from a nostalgic point of view, but I am very clear and blunt about the fact that this current Switch era has just kind of left me feeling out of the circle of people that are really into Nintendo right now. For some reason, just like the first generation of Switch was Zelda and Mario Odyssey, I was all in, and then I just kind of I just felt like I got pushed out. I'm much more into the new hardcore systems. That's where I spend all my time and play. But I love Nintendo. I find myself today being more in love with this idea of a Mario movie than the hardcore Nintendo folks in my circle. The people that are supposed to be like the Nintendo faithful, I find myself going to them saying, guys, do you not see how amazing this is? I am 1000% on board for this movie for a multitude of reasons. First of all, cast, fantastic. When they announced this cast, I was like, this is going to be a farce. This is going to be a comedy straight up. I love the fact that they got folks like you said, Jack Black as Bowser. Perfect. Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Are you freaking kidding me? And you know what? Screw it. I love Chris Pratt. He's my boyfriend. I will watch Chris Pratt in anything Chris Pratt does. But when this trailer came out, I mean, I was already in, but I watched it and I can't find anything that I don't like. I think with Chris Pratt's voice, which is, I think, what most people complain about, if I had to listen to, I love Charles Martinet. I love Mario. If I had to listen to that voice for a 2-hour movie, I would walk out of that damn theater straight up. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Chris Pratt is toning it down a little bit, you can tell he's doing a voice. It's not the voice. Of course, it's not the voice. The fact that, he's doing a more toned down voice, the fact that you can tell they're doing a Mario origin story, which I don't know. I've never heard a Mario origin story before. I'm down for that. The visuals, fantastic. I am just so excited. And maybe it's the fact that as I get older and my kids get older and they start appreciating these things as much as I do, like, I know that I'm going to take my family to this movie and we're going to walk out those doors with goosebumps, I am just so over the moon excited about this movie. Plus, I think that when pop culture enters the movie space and they make it as accessible to everyone, that's where you win. That's why I think the Christopher Nolan Batman movies are so fantastic, because they took those characters and they just brought them down a couple of notches and made them relatable and accessible to everybody. Bane was never going to work as Bane from the comics, but they made him something that works for people that can just walk into the movie theater and experience a Batman story. And I think that's what we're going to get here with Mario. It's clearly the Mario universe. The visuals are all there, the characters are all there, but they're just dialing it back a little bit so that folks that aren't so hardcore. I mean, how many folks do you know outside of this little internet circle that know who Charles Martinet even is, right? Everybody is going to enjoy this movie. I'm jazzed. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah.
You can now roast me.
No. You know what? I'm going to back up like 99% of what you said there. The movie looks visually amazing. The cast seems just phenomenal. Like every single thing I hear about, like Jack Black sings a song as there's a musical number for Bowser. Same thing with Toad potentially. And he made up a song like on the spot as Toad. Like, just, there's so much shit that I am ridiculously excited for in this, that all of that pushed aside any like weirdness I feel of my first watch of this. It was like, that's just Chris Pratt doing Chris Pratt. What? And the next time I did notice that, like, he kind of has that Rocket Raccoon, like,
there's a little bit in there.
There's a little something. And he, I read something, he's taking inspiration from Polly Walnuts
from The Sopranos. That's an interesting take.
Taking interest. That's where he's taking inspiration from. I'm pumped. I can't wait to hear Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Like,
oh my God, that laugh.
I was just going to say, there's like a 5-second clip that floats around every once in a while of his laugh on top of Donkey Kong's terrifying animated show from the 90s. That sold me just
you don't
by itself.
Cast Seth Rogen unless you're going for, just a goof.
Yeah. I can't wait. And the thing that sold me on this, Adam, you mentioned seeing it with your family. My son is 2.5 and watched this trailer several times and was so excited every time. Is he going to understand everything? No. But this is his Mario.
Exactly. Yep.
This is what he's going to grow the same way. And I had to again, remove myself from it for a second of I want Charles Martinet's voice. That is what I've had since the N64 days. It's been a long history of that is drilled into my head as Mario's voice. But then I remembered I also grew up on the Super Mario Super Show.
Lou Albano. That's my Mario.
And the terrible
Bob Hoskins.
Movie, Bob Hoskins. So Mario's voice has really only, it's consistent in the video games, but in other media, he's never had a high-pitched voice. Captain Lou was never hey, it's me. He was just a guy, right? So
there's some scene in this movie where Mario's got rubber bands stapled to his face.
Oh, jeez. That would be awesome. Oh,
I'm with you, Adam. I'm excited. It was a little jarring at first just to hear that one voice. Bowser sounded so good, and it's Jack Black can do some voices, but Chris Pratt kind of sounds like Chris Pratt, and that's going to be fine. It is going to be okay. But at first it was a little bit jarring, and I was like, I don't know. But again, seeing my son watching it a couple more times, it's 99.9% there for me. If you're 100%, I'm 0.5% behind you.
It's amazing how much your children being invested in something that you are completely blows your enjoyment of it through the stratosphere.
Oh, dude, don't get me started on Paw Patrol fan fiction.
Oh God. Is that anything like Trover Saves the Universe, Mark? Because that could go a wrong way, if you know what I'm saying. Yes.
No, I was trying to look up the origin stories for the Paw Patrol. Actually, one day I got bored, and one of the movies that kind of covered. Anyway, I'm not going to get into this.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up like Wiggles fan fiction, because that's probably big.
Of the Wiggles
I know you did, and I was jealous.
It was fun, man.
I was about to take pictures of the Wiggles CDs we had for Logan, so go back.
It was really cool. They're really nice guys. Todd, what did you think about this trailer?
Wow, I'm so happy with where video game movies are right now. We're getting a little bit of everything. Animation, live action, Sonic, we're getting a mix of both, which I thoroughly enjoyed the Sonic movies. And talk about a fan base that is weird is the Sonic fan base, because like they've got people that are like, oh my God, it wasn't the same because his gloves were wrong. I'm like, oh God, please don't do that. Or they go into like Sonic canon. I'm like, oh my, the canon, the comics, the cartoon, the video game where he says nothing. I don't know. I love this. I thought the animation is beautiful. I love the fact that they opened up with like the penguin people, which, well, once again, what do we know about the penguin people? Mario kicks a penguin baby or throws it off the thing. We know that'll happen probably. That'll be a good Easter egg. It's just fun. I mean, I love it. They're going full in. It's beautiful. Like some people are saying, imagine if we got a game at this level of this visual quality on maybe the next Switch. That'd be fantastic. It's beautiful. I think it's going to be crazy. Yeah, I was worried at first. I thought, oh God, please don't make this like Mario goes into the real world where it's like that portal. And then it's like, oh, it's going to be like New Donk City where a weird little man is going around talking to real people. And it's like, oh, I ran into Nicki Minaj. Oh, and like twerking happens. That's how it could have gone, like a Smurfs movie. So it didn't, which is cool. So I'm assuming this is the opposite way. Maybe Chris Pratt in the real world, it comes into the Mushroom King. It's like a, Stranger in a Strange Land story. And he comes in wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, whatever. I'm perfectly fine with his accent. I don't care. Like I said, Captain Lou was my guy. He was an old 45, 50-year-old plumber. Bob Hoskins was too. That's fine. What I'm curious about, though, is we have so many characters we've not seen yet. We got a little bit of Luigi in the Luigi Mansion extended. Charlie Day, I love him to pieces. And just imagine just the crazy he's going to bring in. He's not, I mean, maybe he'll like overdo the accent. Maybe that would be hilarious. He's like, oh, Mario, because it's Charlie Day. But I mean, Danny DeVito is in this. I mean, we've got so many people. And you mentioned the Donkey Kong crew. I'm like, we haven't even seen Donkey Kong or any of that element. I mean, is this going to be like we have the different worlds and we're going to have like a Smash Brothers cinematic universe?
It's going to be 7 hours long.
Oh, God. to make fans happy, it'll have to be.
Bowser's doing some multiversal world
Koopa Kids come next,
starts,
right? Or whatever. Yeah.
I'm going to guess that's the teaser at the end, man. That's going to be like, the little stinger at the end. It's like, yeah, you thought my dad was bad. Wait till you get a load of me and my crew. And it's going to be Bowser Jr. and the Koopalings just like,
and you know what's great is there's like 0% chance that this movie doesn't just crush at the box office. So when you stinger you know it's going to pay off.
It's probably going to be multiple viewings for like Easter weekend where the kids are out, spring break, perfect timing. And it kind of makes me, the only thing I'm kind of mad is because I'm an oldling, that Super Mario Brothers 2 Nintendo Power issue with the claymation. If they had went claymation, that would have made my day. I'm like, I want Mario and claymation. I don't know how I'm getting it. Not happening, of course. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. It definitely feels like I'm glad Nintendo's finally going in on their properties. Pokemon is where they've really been. Loud and in charge. We've got a couple bad cartoons. I'm glad we're going this way. So I'm very excited. So yeah, we're probably going to get another trailer at the Super Bowl probably that really blows it up. Maybe at the Game Awards. I don't know. Jeff Keighley, see any pull? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the end of this when Samuel L. Jackson comes up and recruits Super Mario for the Smash Brothers initiative. And
that's pretty funny. Yeah.
That ends.
Yeah. And Sonic shows up.
He's like the voice of the hand from.
That's
jeez.
Yes.
Oh boy. Love it. Very cool. Well, we got one other story just wanted to hit on because this is like blowing up the internet. It's for a game I'm very excited about. A little torn because there's a part of gaming we don't know much about. It's pay. how do people get paid in games? There's largely no union, so there's no like set levels, there's no protection. But with voice actors and actors, there are unions. So SAG-AFTRA, I believe, is the big union. So there are some set levels of like standard contracts if you're a union employee and you get hired. And then there's not non-union talent. This is very normal in like Japan for their anime. Voice actors get paid like trash. So to animators, it's not great. It's cheap, and they don't pay a lot. But we don't really know. We hear about like the big voice actors like Nolan North and others that are big names. I don't know how much they get paid. We don't know. Is it by the hour, set rate? They have agents. They figure that out. But it's been emerged that the actress who has played Bayonetta in the first two games, essentially, we heard that she was being replaced, and the official word was from Platinum Games was, "Oh, her schedule didn't allow it." That was all we heard. And then all of a sudden, she comes out and says, "No, I was available. My schedule was free. I was offered $4,000 as a flat rate to be the lead actor in a game I've been in twice. That's they've sold millions of copies of the game. This is a Nintendo published game, so it's not like they're dealing with a very small publisher either." And she says the Bayonetta franchise has made approximately $450 million, not including merchandise. As an actor, I trained for a total of 7.5 years. Don't know how, but doing her craft, I assume. What did they think this was what did they think this was worth? What did they offer to pay me? The final offer to the whole game was a buyout flat rate. No incentives. No. I think other. Yeah, to do this, $4,000. Talent insult to her. She's speaking out. She may be breaking NDAs. She's not 100% clear on that. She was then replaced by Jennifer Hale, and the voice actress's name, let me bring it up, Helena Taylor.
Helena, Taylor.
Yeah, and she doesn't have many roles outside of Bayonetta. That's where most know from her. But Jennifer Hale, replaced by Jennifer Hale, who is the #1 voice actress like in games. She's done more roles than anyone else. So definitely replaced by someone higher level who most likely got a higher level of pay. I believe Platinum or Kamiya, the lead of Platinum, has like deleted his Twitter. He has some really weird rules about who he tweets with. You have to like speak Japanese. It's very weird. And Jennifer Hale sent out a message saying she supports the people that made this game and she can't speak because NDA. This is where we land. I tried to do some research and I didn't find much in the way of like rates. We had one actor.
I did find a little bit.
Oh, okay, you did? Okay, cool.
Well, just voice actor. I didn't go video game specific. So the average voice actor in the US, this is average, of course. So can go higher, can go lower, but the stats that I found roughly made it between $37 and $39. So let's call it 38, call it a day. So that's $38 per hour. So my biggest problems with this stuff from Helena or Helena, however, I don't know how she pronounces her name, but anyway, my problem with this, okay, and I want to start off by saying that like the capital, I'm not defending capitalism or any of that like bullshit of stuff. She does mention, like there's fat cats that are getting rich off of this game. They're making whatever $250 million for the series and blah, blah, blah. And someone's getting rich from this. Sure. But all that stuff aside, she said $4,000 is insulting to her. But she doesn't give any reference to the amount of time that it would take to record this. So I did look up, Bayonetta 2 has just under 2.5 hours of cutscenes. That's total. Cutscenes and cinematics, 2.5 hours. And that's just not her speaking. That's like everyone in the cast. That's narration. That's no talking, just fighting cutscenes and stuff. Like it's 2.5 hours total. But let's just, for instance, on 3, let's pretend it's a longer game and she actually has 2.5 hours worth of spoken dialogue in the game for some reason. That's 42 takes for every single word in the game. That's a decent amount. That's a decent amount of takes. So I don't know enough about the voice acting world to to know how long that would take. If this is $4,000 for 2 days work or for a week's work, that's pretty friggin' good. I don't know about you guys. I would love to make $4,000 in a week. I wouldn't say that's insulting. And for an actor with friggin' 24 credits to her name since 1992, she might be talented. She might have gone to school for 7 years. That's great. But she also defeats herself in her own argument by saying her phone's not ringing. She doesn't have other jobs. Her schedule's wide open. Like, you're saying that, I don't know. She's trying to say that she should be getting more, but if she's not in demand, does that pay scale work? You know, is the going rate good for this actor who doesn't have much to her name and credit and whatever? I don't know. And a lot of the stuff that she's done is bit parts, townsfolk, additional voices, this kind of stuff. So Bayonetta was kind of like her thing. Should she be getting paid? Yes, but like, so should everyone else. Everyone, I think, should be making a livable wage. That livable wage maybe shouldn't be defined as like the bare minimum for everyone to live. Like, there's a lot of stuff wrong with the world and capitalism and everything else. But like, if I'm applying for a job and they underpay me, I'm not going to boycott that business. I'm just going to be like, sorry guys, you can't afford me. I've done that. You know, I'm sure you guys have done that. There's a difference between knowing your worth and acting out about it. And if she was insulted by the 4,000, again, come out and say like, they're offering me $4,000 for 2 months work. And then it is, probably insulting. Right. But if it's $4,000 for 2 days of recording lines or, 4 hours in a recording booth, like, shit. If I could go to work for 4 hours and make $4,000, sign me up for that job. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know any more about voice acting or whatever. That's what I found on a quick kind of view today, like quick Google searches of again, like I said, the cinematics, what's involved, and the going rate for voice actors on average. And that can go up to hundreds of dollars for, I'm sure Jennifer Hale might be, higher up on that level. But she also has, like Todd said, she's credited with the most voice actors, 471 credits starting in 1988. And again, 24 credits for Helena Taylor since 1992. So they even started around the same time. Within a couple of years. So that's, I have some sympathy from a purely like F capitalism kind of way, but like at the same time, I'm like, give us a time. She never says a time. And she quickly brings up like nurses and other people who are not making enough. And it's like, cool. What's that have to do with this?
Yeah. I mean,
she's bringing up some weird arguments that don't have any relevance.
Yeah. I mean, full disclosure, you guys are paying me $2,000 for this appearance on the podcast. I just want to get that out of the way. Secondly,
Adam, we tried to replace you with another podcast guest, and they highballed us. So sorry. Yeah. Oh, did I? There's no renegotiation. Sorry.
We'll talk about that offline.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, I don't know anything about this industry. I don't know anything about this franchise, quite frankly. But as a human, I just find it really weird when people go to social media to air grievances to a mass of people who don't, like you said, have any context or the right set of facts and information to properly assess this situation and ask them to go to bat for you. I'm not saying she's in the wrong. I'm just saying that is immediately kind of like a red flag for me of like, why? What do you want me to do about it? It's like, she very well may be wronged. She very well may be
100%
getting screwed over. I just, as just a consumer of the internet, find it really strange when somebody goes to the internet to try to get some sort of justice. Like, what do you expect to gain from that? Even if everybody does go and boycott the game, like, there's no win for you there.
No. Yeah, she's not working in another game.
It's too late to bring her back. The game is coming out in 2 weeks.
Yeah. It just seems odd. It seems I mean, I hate talking about stuff like this that I don't have any real footing on, but it just seems like a grievance to me that it just kind of makes me feel icky being in the periphery of and reading this kind of stuff without the right kind of information.
I do feel like, if anything, though, this brings to light a wage, what someone was offered, which I think is a good start to say, okay, maybe we need to rethink this, because if you think about like TV, the more seasons you do, the higher the rate is, because they're bringing you back. It's an established thing. You've gained that. She is the iconic voice of this franchise. This isn't like doing a couple bit characters. That's her voice that she's established. She has a big fan base. There's merchandise and stuff. And the fact that, like you said, Mark,
merchandise isn't voiced.
No, but it's an image of a character. It's like you said, Charles Martinet. That's who we associate the character. And I like these games, so I associate.
Done a great job.
But I do feel like, because you can say how many hours work. I'm like, I don't know. And with the fact that we're putting hours into art, I mean, Adam, you're an artist. You put a price on your talent and things like that, because you're saying, I'm the only one that can do the thing you want for a price. I don't know if you benchmark other artists to say this is a fair rate. Obviously, you're paying for a craft versus just I'm sitting and flipping burgers. I mean, so there's an element to that as well. So I'm just trying to figure it. Plus, this is Nintendo. This is the third biggest publisher probably in video games. And ultimately, I know Nintendo has a history of being very cheap. And Nintendo essentially approved the budget that Platinum made this game on. So the question becomes, did they cheap out on the voice talent bucket because they wanted to put more talent in this game? The last one came out in 2014. I'm assuming Platinum, and they've got a spotty record of games that do well and do bad. Maybe they were just like, oh crap, we're running out of budget. We don't want to go back to Nintendo because that makes us bad in their eyes. So I don't know. All these things kind of play into it. And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like loyalty, things like that. $4,000 in the big picture of the voice of your main character seems like a pittance. $4,000. And they've made $450 million. I just feel like it's just weird to say $4,000 doing something artistic. We want to praise people to be in the arts and things like that, and to say, you work $30 an hour. I'm like, I know people that do less interesting things and get paid a hell of a lot more. Hundreds, $200.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said, like, I'm not saying that it's right that voice actors get paid this on average, but if that's the average, like, here's a starting point for someone to go on. And again, you mentioned other voice actors, and as seasons go on, they renegotiate, and Futurama comes up.
Oh yeah, John DiMaggio.
Yeah. So leaving the show, going into further negotiations. Eventually he won out because the rest of the cast was behind him. There was a whole bunch of stuff.
He didn't, but apparently he got paid the same. He didn't actually get a raise. He just got brought. He came back.
Right.
Yeah.
They came to some sort of agreement at least. And that was all done. It was very public that he wasn't coming back. I'm sure there was a groundswell. And I think this could have been handled in a better way of like, hey, without her saying boycott the game. I think that was just the nail in the coffin, and done way too late because the game's coming out. Like, if this was done a couple years ago when they were recording the voice, or whenever they recorded the voice stuff for this, if it was done a little while ago and she said, like, I might be replaced on this game. I can't really accept the offer that they're putting at me. Is there some groundswell to kind of get me back or something like that? Like, sadly, I'm not going to be the voice again, but thanks for the years kind of thing. Like, we could have gotten behind her then. Like you said, now there's no win. Like, what does she want from this? Just to boycott the game, and then what? She never works again? I don't know what the outcome for this is. I did put it out on Discord, like I said. Peter from Code 47 said Jennifer Hale is great, who is the new voice actor, but I always find it weird to recast a well-known voice actor for a well-known character after several installments, specifically with another very good but distinctive voice. I'm not super familiar with the reasons why all of this is going down. He thinks it's payment disagreements, and we just kind of explained all that. And he kind of backed us up a little bit later. I kind of explained what was going on. He said, like, if it's ego, fine, let her go. I still don't like they're doing that, but you can't always hang on to the original cast if they start being a pain. And again, the capitalism part of this sucks, but like, if Nintendo can justify for whatever reason, they're a company. They're not here to make everyone rich. They're here to make their stockholders rich and themselves. And that's what companies are. They all suck in various levels. friggin' deal with it. I don't know. Like, that's just what we have to do. I don't complain because the CEO of Ford or the dude that owns the dealership that I work at is rich. Like, I just go to work and I do my shit and they pay me pretty well and I don't complain that much. And sometimes I do complain and they give me more money. It's great. But like, if they don't, maybe I can look for another job. That's just how the world works. It sucks, but that's where we are. So that's kind of what we got back. And then, famous Seamus, who brought this up in our Discord in the first place, did post that Jennifer Hale thing. And he said, if you want my feeling on the situation, this may be that Platinum gave Helena a low offer so that she would refuse it and they could get Jennifer Hale. So he's going into some conspiracy theory kind of stuff. I don't know if Seamus is going deep. This, unfortunately, seems to be a trend of companies treating voice actors like trash, with Crunchyroll replacing the main voice actors of Mob Psycho when he wanted to have a meeting between them and SAG-AFTRA. SAG group.
Union.
Some of the actors, some of the voice actors from Jujutsu
Kaisen
Zero. Yep, there you go. Yep. The sixth highest grossing anime movie. They were only paid $150 for acting in the movie. Jesus, that one's
oh my god.
Yeah.
So again, $150 for a movie, $4,000 for. Movies are 2 hours long, $4,000 for 2.5 hours.
I'll do it for $40.
Insulting,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. We all want to be voice actors. I could have been Mario. They didn't ask me.
Unless he and
I wonder how much Chris Pratt's getting paid. Let's figure this out. It's a 2-hour movie. His rate, at least getting $10,000, right?
I would say, yeah, at least 10.
At least 10.
At least $10,000.
Yeah.
But he has to provide his own pizzas.
That's true.
He cannot provide pizzas on Fridays.
The funny part is, though, to all of this, I imagine this is her only way to actually have a voice, because essentially she's a nobody. And that's the only thing. What else is she going to do? She's going to say, well, we are speaking her name and we weren't before. So if anything, somebody might be like, hey, we want to hire you because we've seen what you can do. We want to get you. This is, no bad, what is it? Bad publicity is good publicity. I don't know. Yeah. I mess it up.
All press is good press.
Exactly. So in this case, at least it's getting the discussion. We talk about unions and things for work. These are all good discussions about what is someone worth. And as of right now, when it's in the weeds and we've got to even find things out, it's been very hard. So especially people want to be in voice acting to understand what they could look forward to, because I'm assuming a lot of stuff isn't out there. So if you want to be a voice actor and say, you may get 3 jobs a year and you get $4,000, like that's not a livable wage, $12,000 for a year. And it's what I want to do. I'll be waiting a lot of tables until I get my next lead. Like actors, most actors are working actors. They get a couple roles maybe. And, not everybody can be cool like Ice-T or, what is it? Kevin Hart that's in everything and taking all the roles like The Rock. So yeah, it's a crazy world. So, let us know.
When I talked to Cherami Lee a couple of weeks ago at CaperCon, she's in everything as well. She's done a ton of anime. She's done video games. And she basically talked about her days of working, but it's always it seemed like it was always different projects. Like she'll work on, let's say, a game or a movie for a couple of days or a couple of weeks or something like that and record 400 lines of dialogue or whatever. But it's a lot of kind of read the line, memorize the line, give the line. Okay, move on to the next one. It's that kind of stuff. It seemed very quick when she was talking about it. Again, I've talked to very few voice actors, but she's at least one of the most prominent ones that I've had the pleasure of speaking to her a couple of weeks ago. And, so it just, again, it seems like there's different ways to go about this. And I'm sure she could have probably, and she did say some of the days are really hard and really long, and she pulls 18-hour days and it kills her voice, and that's her paid check. So you can't do that sustainably. And she's probably taking that many jobs because the pay for some of these jobs sucks. But there's probably different ways to go about, and maybe leading the charge to make a union or doing something that, again, brings us back to what's the end goal? And the end goal of this rant seems to just be don't buy the game and keep on living our lives with no result, instead of here's the steps that we can take to make positive change in the industry or in games or in my life or this or that or whatever. Like there's no positive to this. It's just like make them lose because I lost. And that's the part I think that take away the rest of the stuff just kind of like bummed me out about this.
Yeah, it's definitely something that it's hard to take aside because we don't know the full story. And I'm excited for the game. I feel bad for the actress because it sounds like she's not successful, and she's only had so many roles, and this may help her get other roles, but it may not. It may blackball her, and that could be that could be a repercussion of her actions.
I wish her all the best, but as far as the boycotting the game goes, I don't think I'm really on board with that one. Yeah. Sadly, I don't judge anyone that is. If that speaks to you, and you're like Seamus when he shared this, he seemed very upset, and it was like F platinum and screw them and whatever. And that's, if that's your reaction to this, awesome. That is great. Support that actress,
with your wallet,
and speak with your wallet, and that's cool. There's not enough evidence, and if they come back out the day the game's released, if they come out 10 seconds before I plan on purchasing this game, and they say this was $4,000 for 3 months work, screw it. I'm not pressing buy. Yeah. But until that, there's something they have to prove something for this, for me to make action.
It's not a bad thing. Visibility and wages. I've always felt that's a good thing, to know how people are getting paid within a company, because that takes away a lot of the discussions of what's fair, what's not. Equity within race, gender, sexuality, and people who do the same job should get paid the same amount regardless of where they come from. Obviously, voice talent, name, all those other things pay into it. Obviously, you're a big name actor. Chris Pratt is obviously getting more than $4,000. Like I said, he's getting $10,000. So,
at least.
well deserved for all of his time served fighting dinosaurs.
But there's not a scene of him going like this to
holding out the hand. Yes, I saw that post for the most recent one. Like, everybody just puts their hand out. That's the official way of stopping dinosaurs. So. Yeah. Be prepared. So now we're going to move on for something a little lighter. It could be harder. It could be darker. Actually, it's probably a little darker. We're going to the bonus round, and let's make a game, gentlemen. So because we're in spooky season, you can tell by my background, Jason is trying to kill me. He did not succeed.
He whiffed it.
Yes, he whiffed. Yes. Sorry, Jason. Try again. By the way, that game is one of the worst games of all time on the NES.
Look at those
horrible game.
DJs he's got.
Exactly. And you can get that action figure in that, but horrible game. Just to make sense. Little kids are trying to throw rocks at Jason. That's not how you kill Jason, guys. That's not how you do it. But we're making a game. And this is going to be, the twist on this is we've got to turn a family-friendly franchise into a horror game. Each of us will have to select a game, the developer, and then tell us the plot. So let's go there. So, Adam, I don't know if you're ready, but Mark is definitely, he did his homework. So if you did both of your homework, I will be making up on the fly, because in life, procrastination always delivers the best result. So,
of course.
So Adam, please give us your thesis.
When I was a youngin', there was a game on the Commodore 64.
Woohoo! I had a 128.
Called The Detective. And this game was a murder mystery where you were a detective. Blah 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 blah. That drink was great, by the way. You were a detective in this mansion where there was a house party, and you were trying to solve a murder. And as the game progressed, more and more residents and attendees of this party would be killed along the way. There's one chick who had a piano dropped on her. Somebody was stabbed in the bathroom. It was all scripted, but you were trying to find the clues before the killer found you, and you were the only one left, and then you got offed. Take that premise, inject it straight into Animal Crossing, where you are the villager. Each round, the village is randomly generated with different islanders, but amongst these animals is a serial killer.
Like Among Us?
Holy shit, I love this.
And as you are roaming this village, trying to interview the animals and gather clues, oh crap, somebody drowned Brewster in the village fountain. And you have to collect clues
so much.
as one by one, these fucking animals just get offed in grotesque ways.
I want this to be a thing.
And
so bad.
Instead of your little Nookway phone app, like you've got a detective journal where you're collecting all your clues. And instead of digging up fossils, oh my God, I just dug up Tortimer. And he has been chopped into 15 different pieces. Who could have done this? It is the Animal Crossing murder mystery that everybody has been waiting for. And I would give it all of my money to have that game.
So, Adam, who's developing this game? Are you just giving it back to the developers of Animal Crossing?
I think Nintendo can do it. I think if they really just buck tradition and forget the fact that they are a family-friendly company, I think deep down in their heart, they can get this done.
Yes.
And then put it on Switch Online Plus just to make people
exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
It's part of the expansion pack.
Yeah.
I like that.
Lathers getting murdered by a dinosaur skeleton.
Oh, man, that's not goose milk coffee or whatever the hell it is. It's turpentine.
Oh no.
You'll never suspect.
My one weakness.
One of those Animal Crossing characters. I don't know their names. Sorry.
and I think with this game, like everybody's gonna, it's Tom Nook. It's Tom Nook. He's such a heartless bastard. I think you play as Tom Nook. Oh. I think you just kind of. Yeah.
He's the gritty detective, right? He's like he's been divorced for 20 years and he drinks too much.
Drinking problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Kids on his own.
Timmy and Tommy haven't spoken to him in years.
It's a spare job as outside of being a slum landlord. Yeah.
Yeah. Once the convenience store closes, the mystery begins.
Blah, 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 blah.
Oh yes, and they all talk like. Imagine their death gargle.
It's all things that are just meant to be. Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adam.
I want this to be a real thing. You're welcome. So bad. Even more than mine.
Let's go there, Mark.
Yeah. Okay. So mine, we kind of gave it away earlier, but I'm going with Pokemon Ghosts, which is a Pokemon Arceus style spin-off about the early days of Pokemon training. People are just figuring out that they can work with Pokemon, but Pokemon are still pretty effing wild right now. So the Pokedex is terrifying anyway. I know you guys aren't huge Pokemon guys, but like Pokemon entries in the Pokemon, the Pokedex. Let me read one from you right now. So this is from a Pokemon called Banette. It's a stuffed toy that was thrown away and became possessed, ever searching for the one who threw it away so it can enact its revenge.
What?
Yeah. Gotta catch them all?
This is written inside the animal entry when you catch this Pokemon. This is what it tells you about this Pokemon. There's another one called Beware. Giant, looks like a teddy bear. Beautiful, cuddly looking Pokemon. This Pokemon has the habit of hugging its companions. Many trainers have left this world after their spines were squished by its hug.
What? Bear hug?
Written in the effing game. All right, let's hold on. Drifloon, one of my favorites because of this is just terrifying. And it looks like a balloon. This is a ghost type Pokemon that looks like a goddamn balloon. Stories go that it grabs the hands of small children and drags them away to the afterlife.
No.
It dislikes heavy children.
It dislikes heavy children. This is is like it, right? Or yeah, it with the clown.
Dust Skull.
Yeah.
Looks kind of. This is a creepy looking Pokemon, kind of like a ghost with a skull still on it. It loves the crying of children. It startles bad kids by passing through walls and making them cry.
Oh my god. Oh, Mark, you could have crossed this over like Pokemon Snap. So it's like that one weird, creepy Nintendo game with the
Fatal Frame.
Like Fatal Frame, but you're snapping Pokemon who are like going to kill you.
Another one of my favorites. So this is the last one I'll read. This is for Gengar, one of the first original Pokemon that you see ever in Red and Blue. Should you feel yourself attacked by a sudden chill, it is evidence of an approaching Gengar. There is no escaping it. Give up.
What?
This is written in a goddamn kid's game.
Who wrote this? Stephen King? Was he bored? We've hired Stephen King to write the lore for Pokemon.
So here's my question. If all of this is already in Pokemon canon, how the hell do you make this darker?
You get the things to actually go after you.
Oh, this is fine. Perfectly fine. Nothing to see here.
Right. Like in the games, you go in the tall grass or in a building or whatever, and the Pokemon comes up and you throw your fire turtle at it and it goes boop, 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 and you then capture it in a ball after you throw a ball at its face. Fine. You never have a Gengar coming through a wall and just like yeeting the life straight out of you. Like I want that to happen. So like at any given point, you can be running around this as a 10-year-old unparented child tasked with running out like all Pokemon's games give you. But a Drifloon can just come at any point and start chasing you, trying to drag you to the afterlife. Or a Beebear.
Unless you're a fat child.
Exactly. So you got to chunk up before you go into the Drifloon territory.
So weird.
Or a Beeware can just come out of the woods and just be like, hugs. And you got to tear ass and get away from this Beeware. So I think the perfect developer for this would still, of course, be the Pokemon Company, but I think they need to team up with Scott Cawthon, who did Five Nights at Freddy's, and just add that little bit of like, okay, I'm going to look for Pokemon, but at the same time, a Pokemon could be looking for you, and I need to get the hell out of here.
And they're going to collect them all, meaning you.
Yeah, collect them all before they collect you. So this is my Pokemon game of like actual survival horror / Pokemon. And it's, I think
Mark,
they need that.
Don't forget the name of the developer that makes most Pokemon is Game Freak. So they're freaks.
Right. Yes.
There you go.
Absolute freaks. Man, I encourage anyone listening, if you haven't played Pokemon or you haven't like read some of these entries, like just search disturbing Pokedex entry. And like, it's not all ghost type. Like some of them are just like Beeware is just a normal Pokemon. And but a lot of the ghost ones are incredibly creepy, but like others just like, this thing kills every other fish in the sea for fun. Or like this thing, it's just like, they're just crazy. Every single one of them are crazy.
Can't wait to read Magikarps.
That one I think actually says it's useless. So don't worry about that.
Darn! You ruined it, Mark. Now I'll have to re-edit, and it's the entry on Wikipedia for Magikarp. I'll make it darker.
But that's the fun thing about going back in time, like they did with Arceus, is they could be like some new Pokemon or some Pokemon that are kind of docile now that are like batshit crazy back then. Like a Pikachu's kind of cute and cuddly and rubs its little electric cheeks right now, but like
before it was domesticated,
dial it back 1,000 years ago or something. And you get these kind of like rough and tumble Pikachu that are like wearing your skull as a face, and it's like Cubone Part 2 with electric powers. Let's go. So
Adam, Mark will take us to dark, deep places when it comes to Pokemon. Apparently,
I'll be back next week.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Get your son ready for his son. Just want to tell you about this Pokemon you're going to capture. Yeah. No nightmares, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, the first Pokemon you see in Detective Pikachu, Cubone.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
That's wearing its mother's skull as a hat.
Perfectly rational behavior.
Yep. Watch that movie again. God, what's your game?
So, I guess we're doing like Pokemon theme here. Or not Pokemon, but Nintendo theme. I'm picking Kirby. But it's think of the movie The Thing, where the alien creature absorbs someone and pretends to be them. And King Dedede has basically found out that Kirby has gone has got rabies. He essentially absorbed a zombie and now has become a lethal killer that is now infecting everyone across the world. But we can't figure out who it is. This is essentially a game where we have to determine how we're going to bring Kirby in. We may have to kill him. I don't know. I don't know what King Dedede is going to do, but he's got to track Kirby, figure out how to get him trapped, and then dispose of the guy. I don't know if Kirby can really be disposed of. We don't even know what Kirby really is. Apparently, he's like an elder demon because he always takes on these people. So it's kind of taking what you think of the little pink blob and realizing that he is essentially the most vile, evil creature of all the Nintendo universe. He's always the last man standing. Think about that. Smash, who was left alone? Kirby. So Kirby with rabies going in, taking over other elements. It's almost like Among Us. So I would say that would be the premise is Among Us, Kirby. We have to figure out who is the ultimate villain. And I'm giving this game to the developer of Among Us because Nintendo does partner with, indies at times, like, Crypt the Necrodancer with Link. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to basically say Kirby with rabies has to be taken down Among Us.
If Kirby, with all of his power, he's such a cute little character, but if you just pushed him just a little bit over the edge, like Kirby's just teetering, you just push him a little bit over the edge, he is an unstoppable killing machine.
He ate a car in the last game.
He ate a car every single game. He kicks the shit out of a tree. What's the tree gonna do? It can't go anywhere. And Kirby, every single game, he's just gonna I'm gonna kick the shit out of you, tree. Like I understand he's like, hey, there's a giant Pokeball or there's a giant porcupine or a penguin or something terrorizing the city. But once a game, he just goes and kicks the ever living shit out of a tree.
I think Kirby is really a commentary on the darkness of man. If you really analyze it in the right lens.
Yeah. Have anybody really looked into the gaping hole of Kirby?
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
It's madness.
Does not sound right.
The goat sea of Kirby. It's madness. On that note, I think it's a good time to say, folks, let us know your take on the dark side of gaming as we've taken it this episode. I hope you enjoyed the ride. It was a blast. We had fun, and we were very happy to have Adam Leonhardt back. Adam, tell people where they can find you.
First of all, I'm not going to be able to get the phrase "the gaping hole of Kirby" out of my mind probably for the next week and a half, because I don't think what I'm thinking of is what you were thinking of when you said it. But anyway, you can find me on Twitter at the Art of Adam L, or you can follow the Megadads at the Megadads. We've been going almost 9 years now. We just hit episode 100. It took us that long, even though you guys did it in 3 weeks. Congratulations to you. If you want to check out everything that we do, we're at megadads.org is the website. Thank you guys for having me on. It's been a blast. I've loved this year, these last few months. I've been reconnecting with folks that I haven't talked with in a long time to just kind of say thank you for being a part of my journey. You guys have obviously been a big part of that over the years. Time goes by so fast. Like you said at the beginning of the episode, Todd, it's been several years since we've done this. It's just in the blink of an eye. So I encourage folks to really think about those people who have been a part of your path, who have been a part of your journey. Reach out, reconnect. It feels great. I was very, very, very pleased to be part of this episode, guys, as you approach your episode 100.
Thank you, Adam. So and I know you're going to be doing a lot of fundraising for Extra Life. You're dressing up as the God of War, Dad Bod of War. Yes. Appreciate it. So definitely, folks, if you want to support folks who are raising money for kids, check out Adam and all the things that the Megadads are doing over there. They do some great work. All right. Mark, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me pretty much everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, at _Canardian, or hanging out in the Secret Friends Unite Discord, which you should definitely join, be a part of, and jump in on the conversations there.
You can follow me at Toxtra. really heavily involved in fantasy football. It's really not good for my mental health, but I do it anyways. If the Vikings don't win, hopefully my fantasy team does, because my Michigan State Spartans are not doing well right now. So I'm kind of in a mix of insanity. I am looking forward to so many games. I hope to share some of those games I'll be playing with the world on Twitter, and just having a good time enjoying the world of spooky time right now. Love it. Pumpkin spice cider, scary movies. And with that, thank you all for joining us on this journey. And I'll always say, it's always better to game together.
This podcast is part of the Secret Friends Unite podcasting network. Visit secretfriendsunite.com for more great shows, articles, news, reviews, and more. Secret Friends Unite podcasts are available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and other podcast services around the world. If you'd like to be part of the conversation, you can join us on Facebook or our new Discord server, or follow @SecretFriendsU on Twitter. Please subscribe to Secret Friends Unite on YouTube and visit our merch store at tpublic.com. Just search Secret Friends Unite. Thanks for listening.